Look, seem like every captain gotta maintain the cap. You can make change, don't change for that. Tell the whole truth, get paid for that. Bet you never fall off, you was made for that. You gotta be who you really be, shine from the inside. Cause niggas ain't really who they say on the outside. You gotta be who you really be, shine from the inside.
Are you actually autistic? I thought we were just making jokes this whole time.
He can draw it. Your mom's blurry. Welcome back to Madhouse Podcast. Man, it feels good to be back. I was gone last week, and I can genuinely say I missed messing around with these degenerates.
That was weird, man. It was like a dull week for me. This is all I got going on.
You feel like you're forgetting something all week.
Nah, fuck you.
Well,
you had a replacement snowman, so it was fine.
Yeah. Speaking of, I want to throw a big shout out to Ray for jumping in and helping out while I was away. Unfortunately, we couldn't find a replacement for boots, but honestly, a cardboard cutout would work just fine.
We gotta get.
I'm gonna actually draw a plank. I'm gonna draw a plank and just sit him here with like a little Rolf soundboard or something.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and forego wacky news this week because we are gonna jump right ahead into our first topic, or really the topic. This is going to be a 1 or 2, maybe even 3 episode series here. Depends on how deep we delve into this.
Giggity.
But first, I do want to go ahead and mention the shooting that happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Once again, people just losing their damn minds. All of our hearts go out with the people, the victims, and the people who experienced that. But once again,
we need a soundbite for sending thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
That's a sending thoughts and prayers.
Where are we sending the thoughts at?
Can we get a visual of like a rocket ship in the process too?
Right. Listen, man, this madness really needs to stop, though. Something needs to happen. Because it's really starting to look bad on us responsible gun owners, the ones of us who go about getting guns the right way, and the ones who carry responsible on the daily.
Like giving cash to Jimbo. That's the right way to get guns around here.
Yeah, whatever he said. Once again, there are the way left and right fielders who have the conspiracy theories that think this is another scripted shooting. However, we're not going to discuss shootings anymore. I feel like we've kind of beat a dead horse with that over the last 2 weeks, and
sadly,
we're dead, kid.
We should. Unfortunately, I didn't think we'd ever get to a point where we're like, man, we should probably stop that topic.
Right. So we're going to go ahead and jump into conspiracy theories, and just give our outtakes on a few conspiracy theories, and go from there. What do y'all got for conspiracy theories?
Sick, not all at once. All right, so what do you guys think about these Mandela effects? Basically, a Mandela effect is the grand theory is that we're in some fucking simulation, or in 2012 the world really did end, and now we're in some fucking shell of our old existence, and things that we remember from the past, from the old Earth pre-2012, is not how it actually was. Example. The intro on a lot of old like Disney VHS tapes. There was one of the opening sequences where it would show like the Disney castle, and it would have text underneath, and Tinkerbell would come out and fly around, and she had her little wand, and she would pop the top, like hit the top of the castle, and pixie dust would fly everywhere, and that would kind of initiate another animation sequence that did their intro. And apparently that never existed at any point.
No, because I feel like for that one, especially like in the early Disney movies, I feel like technology and cartoon animation or whatever you want to call it, graphic design wasn't quite to the level it is now. So I feel like maybe prior to that, maybe they couldn't figure out how to do that.
But there's millions and millions of people that swear they have seen that intro and remember it as vividly as that for something that never existed.
I mean, there's millions and millions of people who saw Sasquatch, but where's Sasquatch at?
No, bro, people. No, it was people in.
Why are you talking about Jeremy like that,
in
bro?
Northern California that thought they saw a big hairy dude in the fucking forest. You know,
Do you know what happened in the
Humboldt
70s
County.
in Northern California? do you?
get the fuck out of here. You have no credibility. All right, there's another one that was. I don't know if you guys remember this one. Publishers.
Did Curious George have a
Shut up.
tail?
Publishers Clearinghouse used to be able to like enter the sweepstakes, and if you won, they would show up at your door with like a camera crew and 8 million.
I remember that shit being on the news.
Yeah, 8 million fucking balloons
with
yep.
a big check.
And Ed McMahon would come out and hand you a 5-foot check. And you're the next winner on the Publishers Clearinghouse. Yeah. Right?
I actually do remember that.
Ed McMahon had nothing to do with that.
Says who?
Right now, Google it.
Ed McMahon says he had nothing to do with that?
No, apparently anybody, even Publishers Clearinghouse, said Ed McMahon never had anything to do with that.
Maybe it was his twin.
I mean, that effect goes into like different logos too in different companies. Or wasn't it like
Ray, Google that shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Wasn't it like
Ray, Google that shit.
Bernstein Bears? Wasn't that one of them? Like the
Yeah,
spelling for
different
that?
little stuff like that people
Yeah.
remember very, very different. I'm gonna look up a couple of them too, so we can.
I mean, you know, stuff has definitely changed. What you got, Boots?
I mean, just examples of that. Does Kit Kat have a hyphen?
Does Kit
Curious
Kat
George
have
in his
a
tail?
hyphen?
Is it Cheez-Its or Cheez-It?
It depends on which terminology you're using it in. Is it plural? Is it one Cheez-It? Or is it multiple Cheez-Its?
So yeah,
I'm just putting up some examples here. This Mandela effect type deal.
And for those of you guys watching, the reason I said Ray Google it, we've decided to bring on Ray as a producer in the background, help us move stuff along, and go ahead and research stuff for us while we're carrying on conversations and whatnot.
yeah. Like, does Skechers have a T in it?
No.
No.
I thought so.
Well, you're dumb.
But
so.
see, all these examples that you're bringing up are real, like, prime examples of perception. And you know how the saying goes, perception is reality. So if Will's perception of Skechers and the way he would imagine it in his head being spelt has a T in it, well, then he would just assume that it has a T in it, even though it doesn't. Mm-hmm. It's like the Oasis effect. You know, when you're in the desert and you think you see a, you know what I'm saying?
I was like, I didn't Google that one.
It's like when you're in the desert and you think you see a body of water, but really it's just the heat waves. But in your mind, your perception of it is, hey, that's a body of water up ahead.
So
we also have a tendency to group together, whether we like it or not. So if one person suggests something, even if it goes against the norm, there's part of us that wants to be a part of that group because we don't want to be singled out and alone.
What's the deal with the whole like secret room in Mount Rushmore?
go on, tell us about it.
Like that Hall of Records or whatever it's called?
Yeah, tell us about it, because I don't think I've heard. I don't think I've heard about that.
One.
So I know they used its existence as like a kind of a, hey, that's a cool nugget. Let's kind of feed National Treasure 2 with
So,
this.
hold on.
But
Is there in fact a room at
Mount
Mount
Rushmore?
Rushmore?
Yeah, it's behind Lincoln.
Okay.
Well, I guess it's inside Lincoln's
Okay.
head.
Like I've
Really?
never really
I didn't
looked
know
into
that.
it that much, and I've never actually
Is it
cared to look
actually
in, I guess.
so? Is the conspiracy whether or not it exists, or is the conspiracy
No.
what it's used
It's
for?
purpose.
Yeah, or what's the initial design?
Yeah, it's purpose mainly. Because whenever they made Mount Rushmore, they were intending on having that Hall of Records as like a storage of the nation's most prized possessions and valuables, as well as like a reserve of wealth if need be. But Borglum died like in the middle of World War II, and now the government's got the place sealed off, so no one actually knows what's in there, other than I'm pretty sure like the OG Declaration, the Constitution, and other historical documents. But the conspiracy being more along the lines that they're using it for other secret squirrel shit.
But why? I don't. I mean, I get it, but a lot of these like conspiracy theorists now that I just don't understand that. Like the early days of YouTube pranks, even if you were right, who cares? Like, okay, so like, 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 there's a whole conspiracy that like there's fucking underground tunnels under the Denver airport that like lead to Cheyenne Mountain, and it's the fucking it's either Illuminati or the
Well, there is
the
underground
the
stuff
Freemasons things, but there is. It's the old fucking luggage area.
Yeah, there is underground stuff at which I think they've turned some of it into like hotel. Like you could like pay to sleep in rooms down there,
Huh.
if I'm not mistaken, something to that effect.
They'll capitalize anything.
Yeah, but like,
Jesus.
here's the
Yeah.
thing, man. Like, we could be having a secret world takeover meeting right now in this podcast. Why
Well,
would we fucking burrow a hole under the Denver airport and have like the world's elites hide there so that they can gossip about fucking Kim Kardashian and shit? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, the Mount Rushmore thing, I don't think I necessarily believe that, because they would have that place locked down tighter than a tick's asshole. Anybody who's been around any kind of military establishment knows
right?
that they.
That's what they want you to think.
Okay,
man.
so going along with that, what about Area 51?
Yeah, have you tried getting close to
Yeah,
Area
no shit.
51?
No, I know that, but I'm saying like, do you
Be kindly escorted away.
that they are holding some extraterrestrial?
I don't know that to
shenanigans.
be true, but I mean,
I don't know that
so,
to
like,
be. Yeah,
my dad's a truck driver, and he drives all through Nevada and all that whole area all the time. And he says when you even get within like 10 miles of Area 51,
They're
fuck your
already,
radio signal,
yeah, they're
fuck
already
your
like,
cell phone, fuck it, it's done, it's gone. Well, you got to wait till all the way past it. So the existence of Area 51 and where it exactly is no mystery to anybody.
oh yeah, no.
What they do there could be in question.
That's
Yeah.
the spicy
But you
part.
you also got to think, man. Like they built the fucking they built the SR-71 in like the 60s.
yeah. Well, and then like what they B-52 they built there at Area 51. I think that Area 51 is more or less they use it for testing of stealth equipment
Yeah.
or airplanes or
And I would
shit
agree
like that.
too.
An R&D facility.
It's a
essentially.
lot of
Yeah.
none of your business shit, but
Right.
I don't think it would matter. I don't think they need the
Yeah.
world to know, not necessarily
But-
the people with the old aluminum foil hats and shit. like,
But that brings up my next question, though. I mean, like, do you guys believe in extraterrestrial creatures or aliens
Man,
or any?
that's a hard one for me because just the sheer chance that we are here on Earth with our intelligence, it's kind of hard to like not believe that there's somewhere else out there that somebody is just as, or something is just as intelligent as us, if
not
not better. If not better.
A lot of times that goes hand in hand with like, are you religious or are you an evolutionist? Because if you're among the train of thought of evolution, then you're going to say, okay, that could definitely happen at any other planets with the right life conditions. Whereas if you're a Jeebus person, then you're going to be like, oh, we were put here. We were blessed. Nowhere else is there life. We're the only thing that matters.
So, I mean, for me, I would have to say, you would be a fool to sit there and look me in the eye and say that in our entire galaxy and beyond our galaxy, in the entire space system, that we are the only living creatures.
Right.
And I refuse to believe that we are the only living creatures in an infinite.
There ain't no way Elon Musk is the smartest living creature in the galaxy.
Well,
that's not a thing.
Well,
I mean, it doesn't even have to be like more. It doesn't
Top five,
even have to
maybe,
be more
but,
intelligent than us. It's just a matter of like, there's got to be different living forms outside of our planet and outside of our solar system.
Well, there's different living forms. 100%
bugs on other planets and stuff, but full blown.
Right? Yeah, there's but full blown civilization, and you know what I'm saying. Yeah, there's definitely other living forms, and they have already released that information. And I was reading an article the other day, and I don't remember what it was, but it was saying that there's at least, I want to say it was 4 to 6 other planets out there that are more advanced than we are. Just based on the science that we have found today, like to date.
Yeah.
That there's at least 4 to 6 other planets that we haven't discovered that are either at the same level, if not more advanced than us. Meaning they would come pump our booties in a quickness.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's kind of hard to deny. Now, did we steal their spaceships, and are we trying to fucking make our own?
Yeah, we're keeping them at Area 51.
Yeah.
If we found alien life, would the Marines try to fuck it?
Absolutely.
That's the only fucking guarantee we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely.
But to circle back to what Boots was talking about, creationism and evolutionism aren't the opposite, and I think that's really funny as an atheist when that comes out in conversation. Oh, so you think we come from monkeys? Well, first of all,
I'm gonna need you to say
drive
it again.
a hard fucking argument here that we aren't.
Yeah, right. Like, you're not far from it, big dog. Sorry.
But creatures evolving on Earth is not a theory.
It's factual. I mean,
we've seen
it's not a theory. So
happened.
evolution as a whole is not the opposite of creationism.
Well, I mean, you look back at it, and it's not the evolution of theory or the theory of evolution. It's evolution,
right?
Whereas you would look at it, and it's the Big Bang theory. It's not the Big Bang. It didn't happen, or we don't know if it happened. It might have happened,
sure,
but it's only just a theory. Now, evolution is factual.
I pulled on those two mainly because those are where the two major conflicting parties will base their arguments from. You'll have the people that put all their chips on evolution and say fuck creation, and you'll have all the people that'll say creation and fuck evolution. That's where the argument, not that they're polar opposites, but that the two arguing parties.
Well, you have the two arguing parties are either you believe in God or you don't.
Right. So then I get that a lot too. So I'm a bit of a scientist myself, but
I'm a bit of a dumbass myself.
You stayed at a Holiday Inn once?
No, I played one on TV though. But I get that a lot, and it's well, they don't even know if Pluto's a planet or not. Well, we're not the existence of Pluto is not faith based. They just don't know what to classify it as. It's still there. We never lost track of Pluto.
Promise.
And that's what I think is funny is I am willing to accept the fallacies and the trial and error in science. And even if we find out in 100 years from now that everything that we know to be hard fact is actually 2 clicks to the right of what we thought it was, but now we know, I'll own that. What I'll never, ever, 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 ever accept is the existence of magic. That will never be like an acceptable answer to any problem, any question ever.
Well,
and so
here's my counter argument to that is that we classify stuff that we don't believe to be magic. But what if it is actually legit? We just don't know about it. Does it then make it science if we do find out about it in a scientific manner? Not saying that's what I believe, but it's just like you got to think about it that way.
But show me any kind of science behind a god.
Oh, I mean, when it comes to religion, that's a totally
that's what I mean. That's in opposition.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, that's more or less what he was getting for. And Jeremy and I have discussed this a few times because I grew up religious, and nothing against religious people, but nothing pisses me off more than when you want to shove your religion down someone's throat, or you want to sit there and
at parents
and judge them, for their beliefs. Well, in the Bible, it also says, "Thou shalt not judge." But here you are, you're going to hell because you don't believe in God. Well, now you're going to hell too, you son of a bitch.
You're all loving and accepting as long as people are.
Jokes on you. We're going to the same place.
Right. Jeremy and I, like I said, we've had this discussion a few times. And while he's atheist, I am more of, I don't believe there's a God, but I do believe there is a higher spiritual being or a higher spiritual.
I was going to say, I think we've talked about it, Rodney, and we're kind of on the same terms. It's like, there's a possibility, but it's beyond what my mind can comprehend. So I try not to focus too much on it until there are more facts.
Morgan Freeman.
Right. If you were to present me hardcore facts, then absolutely. You know what? Yes, there is a God. But to this date, there has been not even loosely based facts
on any of it.
And the big cop out. Oh, you got to have faith. You got to base it on faith.
Yeah. What is faith?
You just like it a whole lot.
Right.
We couldn't explain a lot of things way back in the day, so we made up these nice little storybooks to explain it.
Back long ago, like
well, and
well, it wasn't last Tuesday at the cookout. You know what I'm saying?
Why wasn't I invited?
It
was me. I was just naked in my backyard grilling. Honestly,
here's where like religion really gets me too. Is like you've got your three major religions. You've got, Judaism, you've got Catholicism, which we'll classify Christianity under Catholicism because it's same, but different. And then you've got Muslim.
Are not all that different.
Islam, yeah. Which, and that's exactly where I was going was,
they tie
they're
together.
all the same storyline, yet they argue whose is superior, even though it's the same storyline, the same characters, just different names.
Dude, you know what's funny though? As an atheist, I can't help but like when I hear people with conflicting religious ideas arguing about shit or murdering each other over shit, which I'm sure is a green light in their book, literally. It's like listening to like it'd be no different than like me and Boots arguing about the fucking finale of The Bad Batch.
like arguing over the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it really. Well, no, because at least we know the Super Bowl happened. Like,
if you burned every book in existence, if you burned them all,
that goes back to your Mandela effect. Do we know that it actually happened?
Oh, that's true. Well, people were there, so I think it's a little different.
Were they though?
But people also, no, that's what it started. It wasn't the whole 2012 thing. People like vividly remember
Nelson Mandela's death.
Nelson Mandela was dead in South Africa.
He died?
What? Yeah. I mean, and so then when he came out, like all this time later, Nelson Mandela died, and people were like, again.
Thought he was already dead. Oh no!
So it's just like Tupac is in Trinidad and Tobago and fucking,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
him and Biggie are chilling, bro.
No, sir, Elvis is not dead. He just went home.
Yeah, no, Elvis, no, he that motherfucker.
Oh, he croaked on the shitter.
Well, so, you know, I guess speaking of famous people and dying, I mean, let's talk about the whole conspiracy theories behind the Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington
horse.
Yeah. You know how everyone was talking about, you know, it was connected or they were murdered or.
I think it's interesting that like people have completely accepted that there's like a Hollywood socialite pedophile ring. That's not the problem. The problem is who is
that's the problem.
the ring, right? So
that's
It's not the problem.
So we're arguing whether or not Tom Hanks likes to diddle toys, but its existence is whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter if it exists or not.
Well, I mean, that goes back to the whole. I guess same thing you could say with the conspiracy theory around these shootings is the whole. Well, you know, the existence that people want to have the thoughts to shoot up schools is okay. They can have those thoughts. They just can't have guns.
Right.
The mental health part, you know, we're just going to ignore the mental health part. You know, they can be psychotic and have right. Yes. They could be psychotic and have these thoughts in their head and express these thoughts. But as long as they don't have guns, they're okay.
I agree there. That's a lot of what I've seen too. Is I think there was a video on TikTok that I was actually watching that brought that up, and it's like, so we're okay with bringing up the gun issue and the politics behind it, but not identifying that hey, it's a mental health thing to begin with.
Did you say politics?
I have one question. I was going to say I have one question. What is politics?
Political.
Politics.
The politics behind it. I was going to say political, but then my mind's dumb and
it's politics. It's different.
Politics.
Hey, Boots, what were you saying about if we burned all the books or some shit like that?
Yeah, that goes back to the whole religion v science thing. If you were to burn every book in existence, by the way, don't fucking do that. Fahrenheit 451 ass motherfuckers.
Settle down.
But that's fair. You got me there. But Christianity, as everyone sees it written these days, would not come back identical. Whereas at some point you'd see physics come back. You'd see chemistry. You'd see math. That would come back.
And so that's where I guess I would disagree. Assuming you're in this dystopian future where everybody is like, we clean slated as of right now, and nobody had any memory of anything, and we went back to cavemen and we didn't have books. You're saying religion as we know it today will not come back, but science will. And to that I
disagree. I disagree.
I will 100% disagree. And not only do I think that religion will come back absolutely verbatim.
A religion.
Nope, all of them. I think they will all come back absolutely verbatim, and this is why. Not because it's true in any way, shape, or form, but because the origins of Christianity and most religion is based on astrology, and it's proven time and time again its association with astrology. If
you look back, I mean, most early religion, even before you look back at like Greek mythology, was all based off of astrology, and that's where a lot of Christianity takes their religious cues from, is Greek mythology.
Yeah, I mean, if you look like Orion, the 3 stars in Orion's belt line up perfectly with the North Star on December 25th. So three wise men traveled north. You know what I mean? Like they're all like we're okay with personifying the stars, and God knows white chicks nowadays will
With
yeah,
crystals under their pillows.
Sorry, it's because I'm a Capri Sun.
yeah, in the moon of Gatorade.
I'm not a bitch. I'm just an asparagus.
Right. Yeah,
Mercury's in
retrograde.
lemonade.
Am I right? Wow. Okay. No, you're just a cunt. Okay, I'm sorry we put whipped cream on your drink. We'll fix
Right.
it.
No,
You know,
just accept it.
so I do think that it'll all come back verbatim, because there are literally hundreds of religions that predate Christianity that follow the same exact blueprint for Christianity.
The issue with that theory, though, is like we are way too far advanced as a society to even erase books and memories.
Right, we are, which is why I'm still confused why people think that there's a zombie carpenter in the sky that can read your thoughts and you owe fucking money to.
Yeah, and that's really like the big thing that drove me away from religions was church. Like I said, I grew up, in a religious household. We went to church every Sunday and Wednesday, and then when I got old enough to think for myself, I started going, why are we giving these motherfuckers money?
Yeah,
and it's like you're like frowned upon. You're looked at differently if you can't afford to give the church money.
yeah.
That plate comes by. Ooh, man, I'm gonna get me a burger after this. Let me get some of that.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like if you can't afford to put a little money in that tray, then what are you doing here? Why did you even come?
You're not allowed to come to our book club anymore.
Right.
Right, but
that is.
But I feel the same way about healthcare. It's like it's such an expensive, crazy problem we have in this country, but yet you walk into any of these fucking medical centers and there's marble walls and fucking, you know what I mean? Like it's 600-foot sheet panes of glass that you know what I mean? Like these multi-million-dollar facilities, but yet we have a healthcare problem. I think we have a spending problem. Like the church needs money.
Well, it's
but
not
there's
necessarily
there's a thousand
not,
pipe organ behind me. Who paid for that?
It's
there's a lazy river in the for the deacon. Like
it's not a health. It's not a healthcare problem. Let me say this real quick though. It's not a healthcare problem because we do have some of the best healthcare in the world. It's an insurance problem. These insurance companies have.
I just recently watched John Q, which I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but
a couple dozen times. Yeah,
was that the first time you've ever seen it?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I was just asking because you.
God, you look like
I
can't. I'm trying so hard not to say.
So
anything.
All right. So back to John Q. What was your thought on that?
I was just saying that it's like that's a perfect example for even when I think that movie came in the 90s, or was it early 2000s that came out?
Early 2000s.
And it's like it actually resembles our issue quite well, and when it comes to insurance and whatnot, where they don't want to spend the money, and it's sad.
Well, again, like I was saying, it's not like you had said too. It's a healthcare issue. It's not, or an insurance issue. It's not a healthcare issue because if you look at it, back in when I was growing up, back when me and Jeremy were growing up, if we broke a bone, bro, our parents could go in and pay for that shit cash. You know what I'm saying? An ER trip wasn't.
Well, yeah, because
$75,000.
Yeah, they call it Chartmaster prices. That's what they call it. So basically, the medical facility doesn't have set prices for things. So what they'll do is, because every facility can charge a little bit different, like the price of a chest X-ray
based off your income
isn't like a universal thing. Every facility could charge something different. So what they do is they pitch the bill that they mark up is called the Chartmaster price, and they pitch a price to your insurance company.
Yeah,
and then they negotiate how much the insurance will actually pay for that, and then you go. So a lot of times it's 400, 500, 600% of what the actual shit costs.
Mm-hmm.
So because the insurance
but you know
companies exist, the insurance companies have driven the price up because the facilities know that they can pretty much ask whatever they want because insurance is going to cover it, which in turn increases the value of that care financially to the end user, because now they're thinking, okay, well, now my premiums are going to go up because X, Y, and Z. So it's all just forced inflation from the insurance companies. So, I mean, that makes sense.
Aren't a lot of people still like flying to other countries because it's cheaper to get a round trip flight over the Pacific Ocean and get surgery or whatever they need there than to just do it
in
here?
some instances, but you look at how many fucking come back with botched surgeries because they went to Zimbabwe to get fucking teeth work done.
You get what you pay for.
That's true, but I mean, I live down here in the Southwest, and people go down to Juarez all the time for dental care. Like it's like a super normal thing, and they pay out like you said, they pay out of pocket for it. Something that you would that you would pay $10,000 for in the States would probably cost you $800 or $900.
Oh yeah, because I was listening to a podcast one time, and I don't remember what the podcast.
Hey, let me get you a dentist.
What the name of the podcast was, or the dude who was talking, but he was a Border Patrol agent, and he was saying even as a Border Patrol agent, he would go across the border, get some dental work done, and come right back across.
Yep.
And he, pay the dude $500-$600, full dental work, come back.
I can go to my dentist, but the dentist can't come over the border this way. Yeah, we can't have that here.
Well, no, that's a whole other can of worms. But
oh yeah,
they're not credentialed.
Yeah, and I mean, right. And furthermore, yeah. I guess I'll dive into that one real quick because I'll discuss that one. I'm all for immigration, however, do it the right way.
Oh yeah, me too.
Do you think
do you
believe that our requirements are too strict or
no?
I believe they're too politicized.
Yeah, that I believe it might be too long of a process.
Well, that's anything government related. That's not even unique to immigration.
Yeah,
you're dealing with the federal government, bro. That shit. It's going to take me a year and a half for them to look over my paperwork to see that they fucked it up. And
I believe.
Oh, I'm learning the hard way with my VA stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I also believe though, like, there's a way we can help some of the people who are, applying for asylum, trying to run from danger and shit like that. Maybe if we can bring them over here and board them to where they're secured until their stuff comes back. But then, it's an internment camp. However, it's
safer than where they were, if that's what they're going for.
Right. If you're trying to get away, that's safer than where you were at before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
what's the complaint?
The left will never accept that as a logical answer. So, and I guess to touch on the immigration thing, just a hair. So, when I was in the military, I worked for a field hospital here in the Southwest, and when they decided to just fucking rip their cock out of fucking Afghanistan at lightning speed at fucking Mach 5. They brought a lot of passengers.
That was Trump's plan.
Anyway,
that prolapse.
Anyway, a lot of these refugees that came here all came through the hospital that I worked at, the field hospital that I worked at, to get their initial clearance, to go through the immigration process. The whole thing.
Bro, they smell like feet, didn't they?
So when
anyway, it's listen, man, I spend a lot of time out there, bro. Those motherfuckers smell like feet. I'm not trying to be
it wasn't pleasant, and because it was basically a pop-up village. Down in New Mexico, it was they pretty much ran this little village that was government funded, so they still did their little fuck games and prostituted out their fucking kids while they were out there. Yeah. They did all kinds of shit, but I digress. What I think is wild is that we have such an issue with let's face it, we're talking about the Mexicans, right? Mexicans coming over the border and having this be a $10,000 to $15,000 legal procedure, and 6 months to a year to 18 months of fucking bullshit going back and forth, depending on how much money they do or don't have. But yet they fucking funneled fucking Afghans here and paid for every bit of it, and we rammed thousands and thousands and thousands of fucking people through our hospital in a matter of about 4 months.
And that's the thing. I don't think it's necessarily it's because they're Mexican thing.
So the procedure isn't the issue. The money isn't the issue.
The priority is the issue.
Well, it's how you look in the public eye. Shaking babies and kissing hands. You know what I'm saying?
Not putting babies in cages.
It's how you look in the public eye, and they felt that if they left, all the people who had helped the United States throughout the, I have probably about 3 or 4 linguists that worked for us, that came here to the States. You know what I'm saying? And I wrote letters of recommendation for all of them so they can get their citizenship here and be brought over. So, if that goes to show you, how much I believe in immigration and in doing it the right way, I'm all for it, man. Come here. Come on, please come.
Yeah, you want to come and realize that it's not that much better here? Come on, let's do it. Let's figure it out. That's like the straight right that's just so anti fucking gay marriage. Why? Are you so goddamn happy in your marriage? You just think you got to keep it to yourself? Fucking let them do it. Who cares? Shit.
I think my big
and then they justify it with religion, which is even more
Shut
just
up, Jeremy.
bullshit.
Shut up, Jeremy.
My thing with immigration is that we're basically all immigrants too. It's like, are we going to go back on like what we used to strive?
Are you though? Are you?
How many generations do you get to use that card?
Well, what I'm getting at is like our founding fathers were immigrants, and we strive so hard to throw out that card of like, oh yeah, we're all inclusive, and then we're not.
What about Pangea?
They also.
What about Pangea? That's a good one. I didn't actually consider that.
Here. I will go ahead. And play devil's advocate here. They also came and raped and pillaged the fucking Indians.
And I disagree with all of that.
Wow. Then you disagree with the immigration. You see what I'm saying?
And then the big argument there is, oh no, we don't celebrate or have sympathy for the losing side with the Civil War. But then you bring up Native Americans, and then everyone just gets upset.
Well, yeah, they're still crying about losing.
Kind of going along with what Jeremy was talking about with science, is like if we realize that we've done wrong, like we need to own up to it. And then in that case, like, our founding fathers did some really shitty shit.
So you said you're an immigrant, though. How many generations have to pass by for you to just be considered American instead of saying, "Oh, I'm 3.8% Irish"?
Did you forget the section where I was just like, "Hey, my point is that our founding fathers were immigrants, not necessarily that I am an immigrant."
No, I was asking that as a question of how many generations have to pass. That was the focal question there.
Is it subjective though?
Is it?
We can sit here and say like, oh yeah, it's 3 generations, but everybody's gonna have their own fucking opinion. What I say is gonna be completely different than what the next person's gonna say.
So are the natives still natives, or are they just Americans now?
Well, I mean, they still have their own reservations. So. I guess that's
American land.
I'm not gonna make that call. That's all I'm gonna say. Is like I'm not gonna make that call.
Listen, man, I'm not trying to like pick on you or like call you out. I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, trying to get you to think the other side of the card. Because in order for you to fully, and this is just my personal opinion, in order for you to fully believe in what you believe in, you have to fully understand the other side.
No, I know.
Or at least
I'm just saying I'm not going to make those calls. I'm like, I don't know whether to consider Native Americans considered like still Native Americans. It's outside of my purview.
As an alien.
An
illegal alien on their land.
Looking motherfucker.
As an illegal alien on their land.
Yeah, their own land.
Oh man.
And I'm just, like I said, playing devil's advocate, trying to get you to think both sides of the card. It's not, we can sit here and, well, we're a nation of immigrants. Yeah, well, those immigrants also came over and raped and pillaged Indians and did devastating things to the Native Americans, and that's what the, I guess, far right tries to use as their argument, or far left.
Nice place, motherfucker.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Each side uses that as their argument of, oh, well, founding fathers came over and did this. Oh, well, we're a nation of immigrants. Well, you can't play both sides of the card.
I guess now I see what you're saying. It's like we're not, like, even though we try to portray ourselves as all inclusive, we're really not because of how we acted in the past.
Right. And more or less, we're not all inclusive because we came here to, if you look at American history, we came here to escape, either religious persecution, government persecution, you were taxes. No, taxes wasn't it?
Wasn't that
taxes
a later,
wasn't an issue until,
wasn't that a later issue?
Taxes wasn't an issue until later, after the the French and Indian War. That's when taxes became an issue because Great Britain came back and had said, all right, well, we're going to double or increase your taxes to pay for this war that we just fought for you.
And there was no representation for the colonies.
Bro, you watch fucking...
At least that's my understanding.
Yes and no. There wasn't per se a senator sitting in a seat. However, during those times, representation wasn't logistically
viable.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
possible.
It wasn't viable.
Because you would have to send a letter via ship.
I'm just saying
6 to 7 months.
I'm just saying like that. That was my understanding, was that a lot of it was due to taxation without representation. So
that, part of it was, that was part of the argument, but more or less it was, how are you going to tax us on our own goods?
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because at that time they were all still British. It wasn't a separation yet.
Yeah.
And then, more or less, actually what really ticked them off was, I think it was the Indian Trading Company. It was one of the major trading companies had gone bankrupt. And they had the tea levy and the taxes that they had put on the teas was actually a ploy to bail out that trading company that had gone bankrupt. So the company was taxing the United States to pay for this trading company that had nothing to do with them. On top of that, another big argument was they were trying to tell the United States after the French and Indian War, trying to tell the United States what to do with the land that they had just won. Well, hold on, we just fought for this land, and now you're going to sit here and tell us what we can and can't do on it?
Right, who are you?
If y'all haven't noticed, I suck at history, but I find it interesting, just not up to par.
So,
sound like a global scale HOA to me.
More or less, yes, Jeremy, I do watch the Smithsonian Channel. But also, I'm in college right now, so, I'm learning a lot of this shit as we go, or relearning it. Obviously, you learn it a little bit different in time and history. The way history has been taught has changed, and what I've actually been learning is it's completely different in college, the way history is taught.
Yeah, this ain't Schoolhouse Rock no more.
Hey. I like Schoolhouse Rock.
No, because it's not. I guess more or less what I've been learning is it's not necessarily. It's not subjective like it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Where history for the longest time is one-sided and the winners write history, which is factual, but both sides of the story need to be told.
That's true. You need to get a little WD-40 on that chair, big dog.
What else?
I mean, you're not wrong.
What else y'all got conspiracy-wise? I know Boots got some weird thoughts.
Yeah, let's go. What's in your brain?
I mean, y'all don't want to hear everything. It's
empty
in
space.
Got nothing in my brain. What you got, Will?
Y'all don't want to know what's going on.
Will,
in my
what's
head,
your number one thing that you think about, and it's just like you either sit there and go, "Oh, that's not true," or "There's no way that could be possible."
Well, it would have to be religion, and the fact that like a lot of the major writings that religion is going off of is all human written.
In space, when there's no gravity, reverse cowgirl and doggy style are the same thing.
I hate all you, right, dude.
That's not necessarily true. I guess in anti-gravity, sure, the splat is way better in reverse than it is in doggy. Gravity is working for you in reverse. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a little personal round of applause.
No, I said in space where there ain't no gravity, big dog.
Splat, 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 splat. Go me.
So, going back to Wilson, I think that's a lot of problem with modern religion is it's been translated
so many times,
15, 20 times over.
And they pick and choose. You know, they pick
you're
and
getting
choose.
to the point now where you're playing telephone with religion.
Yeah. And that's just the one thing that I always go back to is like, man, we wrote that. How
the King James / international / pronoun friendly version.
The pronoun friendly version. Jesus / he / him
/ they
/ them.
So
but
it's even
the top
funnier,
topic for me.
Like, if you just read the fucking like, you just read the 10 Commandments.
Go put some quarters in your internet machine, big dog.
What?
Put some quarters in your fucking internet machine.
No, I can't.
Jeremy's camera has been disabled due to slow internet.
God damn it, I hate it here.
Oh, satellite internet made of fucking paper plate and a
take
fork.
a photo of this image of Jeremy's face.
Sorry.
that should be... So Jeremy was, I know Jeremy was talking about, before we started this, 9/11. What do you guys just thought on 9/11? Was there a big conspiracy behind that, or were we truly and deeply just attacked by a different?
Oh, bye, Jeremy.
Oh, oof!
I booted him so he can get his
life together. It'll take longer than the duration of this podcast, big dog.
There's a lot of weird stuff that has come out after the fact of 9/11 that has made it very interesting. Granted, we all know, I don't think the act of itself, there was any conspiracy theory there, in the sense of blueprints are public record, man.
Bush wasn't a fucking puppet master.
Yeah, well, maybe.
He was the puppet master of the birds, because those aren't real.
Yeah, pigeons aren't real. They're just government spy drones.
Yeah, right.
That will always be funny to me.
A little bit of an inside joke. I always throw that in there. I do not believe that pigeons aren't real. I believe pigeons are real. I just tinfoil hat people.
Yeah, I've thrown rice and laxatives at them, and they're shitting on people all day. I've seen it.
I don't know, man. I really believe that's one of those ones where like blueprints are public record, man. So people who think that, oh, Bush secretly snuck them the blueprints, bro, you can get the blueprints to any building. It's all public record.
Yeah.
And then if you're any kind of architect or, structural engineer, you would know, how to attack a building. A, B, clearly they learned the first time when it failed the first time and they tried to put the bomb in the basement. Well, bomb in basement, no work, get no boomy from bottom. All right, well, we'll blow it up from the top then. Mm-hmm. Collapse the motherfucker. I mean,
get a bigger bomb.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily think that there was a huge conspiracy behind that. I mean, there is some fishy stuff that happened and maybe some strange calls that might have happened, but
wait, you guys hear that?
No.
It's like really quiet in here now. Jeremy really was a loud motherfucker.
I think it really it all goes back to like the people making the calls and whether they made the right decision or they made the wrong decision. And I guess even if you want to look back to the whole shooting that happened last week at the school.
Yeah, the officers were out there for how long?
Like an hour.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious as to what the reasoning behind that was.
Right. There's absolutely no fucking reason why you should be sitting out there for that long just waiting. Y'all want to see something funny?
Yeah. Hey.
I was waiting for it. He got booted. Like going along those lines, going back to 9/11, I guess I kind of want to know structurally from an engineer's perspective, what causes the building to fall in the manner that it did when a plane impacts as it did. Not saying I disbelieve that that's the reason why it fell, but I want to know from an engineering perspective of like what caused.
What did you expect it from that impact to like timber like a tree?
No, what more or less happened, and from what I found out, Will, this is answering to your questions, I guess. And I don't know how factual this is, but the jet fuel burning and the fires caused the steel beams, the structural steel beams, to pretty much turn into linguine.
Okay.
And the big argument out there with the conspiracy too is, it takes this much, to
the heat to melt. Yeah, I see that argument all the time.
To melt a steel beam. However, you're not trying. It's not melting.
You just need to degrade the structural integrity of the building.
Right. Once you degrade the structural integrity of that, of that steel beam, then it's linguine, man. It's not,
doesn't have to melt to a liquid. It just has to not be as strong as it was.
Exactly.
Me kicking you in the back of the leg, I don't have to be able to break your knee. I just got to have it go like, you're good. You're going to fall.
And like I said, it's not whether I believe it or not. It's just from an engine. I like to take things apart. I like to tinker. So one thing I've always wondered is like, okay, well, how did that affect the building structurally? So, I mean, that makes sense though.
Well, I mean, they remade it if you want to go tinker.
No, I'm good. I'd like to end up not on somebody's list.
I think more or less, like, if I didn't hate math so much, I would probably try to become like a structural engineer or some shit like that.
Yeah.
It was actually in one of my 5 career routes I was looking at.
I can't stand math, man. And once you start adding fucking numbers and letters together.
Yo, go find X, bro.
You ain't got many of them, big dog. Who are you talking?
Oh, this motherfucker's still frozen. Why would he come back? About to block him.
Now he's
about to block him for good.
Now he's in a concert mode. He set his audio to concert mode. He's got an echo going on.
He's got 6 friends. They're all here and raised 3 of them.
I mean, you should half count me then.
Okay, 5.5 friends. I was trying to round up here, okay?
You put some quarters in your internet machine?
You stretch the little like fork antenna, get it pointing in the right
You
direction.
gotta put your tinfoil hat back on.
So
like
we were just discussing 9/11, and what do you think on the conspiracies surrounding 9/11? What does airplane wreckage look like, though?
And
you know how you drop your Legos and everything, and there's like chunks where there's some pieces still together.
And the Pentagon wasn't hit with a missile because there's footage of airplanes, like a piece of an airplane sticking out of the.
Mandela effect.
So then explain the FFA routes or the FAA routes. What do you mean you don't have to? I'm just trying to pick apart your theory. That's it. I'm not saying you're wrong or you're right. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily something you can doctor. I mean, you could, I guess afterwards, but it doesn't look like a missile hit it. I don't know if you've ever seen what a missile does in real life.
I can say I haven't.
Talking like hellfires here, or
I mean, I'm just saying and I'm sure maybe these two have seen what a missile, looks like through video footage, but
yeah.
I've seen a fair bit, yeah.
Right, and I'll tell you right now that the damage to the Pentagon doesn't look anything like missile damage.
Yeah. For backstory, I was the that's what you want to go ahead and send it rifle. I was that guy for a little while.
I haven't personally seen it, but
so well then what did so then what did they throw at it? Did they fucking catapult something at it? I mean, there's two things that fly through the air: airplanes and missiles. Did a pigeon hit it?
No, those aren't real.
That's the reason why it's a possibility. They're not real.
You see what I'm saying, though? Like, and then yeah, I mean, because like I guess what we were discussing was while you were putting quarters in your internet machine, was blueprints for buildings are it's public information, especially for we'll say the Twin Towers. You can get that information anywhere. And then the whole theory behind jet fuel doesn't burn enough to melt steel beams. Well, you don't have to melt them. You just have to. You don't have to melt it. You just have to get it hot enough to
weaken its structural.
Weaken the structural integrity, and then it becomes linguine. You're not melting it per se.
Yeah, but linguine noodles don't collapse in on
It didn't collapse in on itself. It collapsed out. It folded out. If you look at the videos, it all went like this. Look at the videos. It all just mushroomed out. Obviously, some of it's going to fall in, but when you mushroom like this, the stuff...
Yeah, the whole building's not just going to split like this.
The stuff that's above the building, some of it's going to come down in. But if you look at the videos, it mushrooms out like this. That's why there was debris miles away. If it all collapsed in on itself, it did. No, it went miles away. If you look at when they demolish buildings,
how'd that go again?
When they demolish buildings and they make it so that it comes down on itself, there's not debris for miles away like there was with the Twin Towers. That's the whole theory. That's the whole theory behind 9/11 conspiracies, is that, there was, they had put charges throughout the building and did all this extra shit. Because there's no way that an airplane could take down a building in the fashion that it did, but it did.
I do have to say, from a structure standpoint, what I was going to say is, like, from a structure standpoint, I'm kind of impressed at how it handled taking a 747?
Mm-hmm.
Initially.
If there was charges in the building, you would know by the way it fell and the way it exploded.
I figured you would see the blast, too, from charges.
There's no way. Because you would see...
I'm worried your brain is working slower than your video feed right now.
Because you would see... you would see the blasts.
That's my thing, is you would see the charges going off.
Even... You can't. Bro, what videos have you been watching? What videos have you been watching? I'm like I said, I'm not...
What was that indie TV bullshit site that I was getting all wacky news from?
Are you watching the
Coconut Forums?
The Taliban's feed? Where they doctored it just like they doctored the flight path?
240p?
Right? It... Well, if the flight path can be doctored by the FFA, then video can be doctored too, right? Propaganda. I mean,
I put propaganda in my cereal right on cardboard.
What?
What?
What kind of psychopath do you think I am? You sock shoe, motherfucker.
I was going to say, that's the best insult.
No. Let's go there. We can go there because I am a sock shoe motherfucker, and I'm sure Jeremy is at his age now too. Because when you get older, it is hard to fucking bend down twice. So you bend down once, sock shoe. Right. Right, because I am not lifting up. No, like I said, man, there's just... you know what? Actually, that's a good point to end it right there. We will continue this next week, whether it takes up a full episode or not. We will continue this
fucking
discussion
sock shoe.
Next
week.
I'll be sure to mispronounce.
Get you a roll of quarters, big dog.
I might have been here, but I also mispronounced politics. So
yeah. Politics. What are you going to school for? I'm studying political science.
Listen, I will say, in my defense, I really was trying to say political standpoints, and it went from there.
No, send us those videos, Jeremy, so we can have a gander for ourselves.
Review.
If it's
some sketchy,
it probably looks
Mandarin.
Yeah,
site.
It probably looks like Play-Doh and. But
It's a
Is this
Minecraft
Rodney?
reaction.
I was gonna say, is this Rodney's Warzone?
yeah, my Warzone always be looking like Play-Doh. We'll discuss Warzone at a different time because I have a whole bunch of shit to say about that fucking game.
Same.
Actually, you know what? Yeah. Okay. Well, how about this? How about next week we'll hop on. We'll finish this discussion, kind of about our research and whatnot, and then we'll go into gaming. Yeah, quite the scientist.
Bill Nye,
Everything
the
you find on the
science
internet. Bill. And just so you guys know, everything on the internet you find is absolutely true. And with that,
Then I'm sure I'm justified in how I said politics, because I'm sure there's somebody out there.
With that, we say peace and hair grease, and we'll catch y'all next week.